What is your definition of happiness?
For me,
Yeah.
feeling connected. And it goes back to my childhood. My dad was a pastor and we would go out into the community and help people. And feeling connected to people, feeling that I'm creating purpose in this world, that makes me happy. And connectedness could be with my family. It could be with my friends in my lab. But that makes me extremely happy. I mean, I'm one of 4 siblings, so I'm always around people, and that energy feeds me. It makes me thrive. The moments in my life, in my past, when I've been unhappy, I've been incredibly lonely, and I need to feel that connection.
Is everybody's definition different?
I think so. I think some people are okay with having some loneliness here or there. I call it loneliness, but for them, it's me time, right?
Right.
For others, they need that time away from others to explore, to create, and that's okay. We all have our own idea of what makes us feel happier. Every time you think of the word happy, just write down what you imagine happy is in your mind.
I immediately thought of my dog. I don't know if my family's going to be mad at me, but for some reason I thought about my dog. Well, I have 2 dogs, so I should probably say both dogs. And the fact that it's not that I'm happy when I see them, I am. But if I had to think of an image around what is happy, it's the fact that when you open the door, your pet is so excited to see you. Their whole body is shaking. They are nothing but love toward you. They seem to constantly be emoting something that feels positive. Am I in the right lane here?
Well, Mel, you're healed. Like you have, you've done the work. But many people, when they think of happiness, when they're being real with themselves, they're thinking about, I have this house, I have this car, I have this partner, I have this perfect job. I feel complete. The problem with that is that once you get those things, the science shows that you're still not happy. You're still looking for more things. And I've experienced that. I had the fancy degrees, got the marriage, got the kid, had the house, had the business, and I still felt empty. I was still looking for more. And that's an experience that a lot of people come to me with. They say, well, I don't know why I'm still not happy. But I wanted people to understand why they feel this way. What is the science of your happiness? And there's this whole curriculum throughout America in many schools where adolescents are learning about the science of happiness, college students are learning about it, but a lot of adults don't know about it. And I wanted to basically bring you back to school to understand the science of your happiness. So in my lab, I take people through their own unique biopsychosocial and help them to understand their biology, understand their psychology and their social factors so that we can work from these 3 different angles to really cultivate joy.
Well, what I think is so cool is that when I think about what you do for a living, on one hand, you're teaching. On another hand, you're in clinical practice, sitting in front of people. And another unique thing about your practice is you have people of all ages in your practice. So your practice is little kids all the way up to grandparents. And so you're seeing the full range of the human experience. And then you're running an all-female clinical research lab that is investigating and running clinical trials for pharmaceutical prescription drugs that will help people with mental health issues. And so have this lens that where you've seen interventions with prescription drugs, you see interventions with talk therapy. You are teaching this at New York University. And now you've decided to start this happiness lab to try to help people find their blueprint for happiness. So how did you set up the research for the happiness lab, given that you have these 3 very different parts of your professional life where you're seeing patients?
I set up the happiness lab based on all the different hats that I wear. For example, with the doctors at NYU, I'm teaching them how to use media and social media to communicate effectively to the public. So taking really complex mental health things and delivering them in easily relatable ways. In the lab, I'm doing research with drugs and different methods, trying to address certain symptoms. And in the happiness lab, I'm really pulling from all of these different parts, these different hats that I wear, and making it accessible so that people have a path to really understanding the science of their own happiness and how to obtain sustainable joy. That's how I came up with the 5 V's to thriving. I wanted to be able to tailor this to the individual, but have a methodology that anyone could follow. And the 5 V's are very simple. The first is validating. Many times we don't acknowledge how we feel. The second is venting, learning how to express how we feel. The third is our values, things that really give our lives a sense of purpose and meaning. The fourth, vitals. We only have one body. We have to learn how to take care of it. And the fifth is vision. How do we keep moving forward so that we're not stuck in the past?
So, Dr. Judith, you've spent almost your entire career treating and helping patients who are struggling with depression and anxiety and who are just feeling off or on autopilot, or they have like complex trauma. And that's the work that you've been doing as a psychiatrist. And then you have this research institute that is also researching and doing clinical trials for all kinds of pharmaceutical interventions that are trying to get approved by the FDA to help people with mental health challenges. And what I'm curious about is, why did you want to then kind of flip it from depression and anxiety and truly do research around happiness? Like, what led to this?
So many times we're so focused on the science and advances that we've forgotten the basics. And we all have the DNA, we have the makeup to find happiness. We're just genetically built to have joy. That's why we have dopamine in our brains. But we've forgotten along the way the basics. And I wanted people to know that there were 5 pathways to happiness that everyone has access to. We all, do different things within these 5 V's that I created, but we all have access to them. And if we knew them, then we could all find the science of our own happiness and follow these 5 pathways.
And are these 5 pathways that you're about to teach us, these 5 V's that have come out of your research in this Happiness Lab project, are these related to the same things that keep you unhappy or make you be in a position in your life where you feel lost or overwhelmed? Like, what's the connection between what you see when somebody's really struggling versus what you see when somebody's happy?
All of these 5 V's have a negative and a positive aspect of them. If we're not doing them right, we will be unhappy. If we're doing them in a positive way that edifies us, we will be happier.
Let me just see that I understand what you just said. So, as a psychiatrist and a researcher, you see these same 5 things when somebody's struggling. It's just that they're not actually focused on them. And that means that if you flip it, these same 5 things become your pathway to becoming happier, regardless of where you are in your life and what you're dealing with.
Absolutely.
That is so cool. Well, one of the V's I heard you say was venting.
Yes.
No wonder I'm happy, because I do a lot of venting. Now, I actually want to unpack all this, because you keep those saying, tailor it to the individual. What does that mean? Because I thought that kind of the blueprint is the same for all of us. It's not.
We all have a biopsychosocial, but many of us, let's say people who have autoimmune conditions, we may have to focus more on the biological part, because if we have a condition that's really creating a lot of stress on our bodies and brains, then, it may not make sense to focus on the social part. Like, it doesn't matter how much kale you eat, you're still going to have that autoimmune condition. So you may have to work with specialists, work on decreasing the amount of inflammation in your body from that biological perspective, and then work on the psychological and social later. For others of us, we may have more of the social aspect that's creating stress in our system. So it could be a bad relationship with a toxic individual who's literally like sucking our life force. So again, you may want to focus there, because it doesn't matter how much sleep you're getting. You need to be able to get this person out of your life so that you can see clearer and make better decisions. And for others, we have more psychological components that are creating stress. Let's say if you have a history of trauma and you are avoiding things, you're avoiding living because you're afraid of being triggered. I may want to work more with that individual on how to address their trauma response so they can cope better. So yes, the 5 V's seems like one method, but we all want to utilize it differently because we're all unique and different, and we all have different biopsychosocial components.
And the 5 V's that you're about to share with us help you customize what you need to work on now.
Yes.
That is so cool. Okay. This is personalized medicine, basically, straight from you.
Everyone has a different idea about happiness, but many people, when they think of happiness, they're thinking about, I have this house, I have this car, I have this partner, I have this perfect job. I feel complete. Once you get those things, the science shows that you're still not happy. You're still looking for more things.